Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, I had a very enlightening conversation with the ever-wise Mary Jane Brigger of Ageless Wise Woman. And she has suggested that, because she's seen my channeling and I'm kind of all over the place, coming from a lot of different sources. And of course, most of them are not English speaking. So the only English speaking, what I've translated into English, because they don't speak to me in English, it's just as the vibrations are coming in, it's my human senses and human brain that is translating into English. And since they have been the only ones who've been able to come through in a vibration that my mind can translate into English, it would be best to concentrate on the Pleiadians and communicating with them. And then I was also kind of shown with my own intuition that will eventually trickle down into my other channeling and being able to provide translations for that. So that's very exciting. And apparently the Pleiadians have been trying to get a hold of me for 5 years. 5 years? So that means 4 years prior to my awakening, which was only about this time, in early, well, it was about July. Yeah, because I did a very emotional incident happened to me in May that kind of tipped me over to the emotional blowing point. And that's what they say, that happens with a lot of awakenings. You just hit your spiritual and emotional and physical bottom, and then as like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you were born anew, and even stronger than before, and stronger beyond you're even realizing it or even knowing it, because then it's almost like you are coming forth like with these superpowers. If you kind of want to equate these psychic abilities with superpowers, because they are, it's magical, but it's not unobtainable. That's the thing, is that you're made to believe through conditioning and science and the mainstream media and that none of this stuff is supposed to be possible. And if you think it's possible, you're just crazy and you're insane. Or you're making it up. You're just an attention getter, making this stuff up. And I'm not saying that there aren't, people that out there that do present a false, what I'm trying to think of, that don't try and falsify, and probably on purpose, psychic abilities, in order to then, that is used as an example of, oh, see, this person faked, so everybody's faking it. But, if that's true, I shouldn't say, since I know that is true, then that goes back to 4 years prior, when I was in a very bad vehicle accident. But essentially, that was the catalyst that kind of sent me into the eventual spiral that I had 4 years later. Anyways, it was a very, very rough 4 years. I mean, I guess if they talk about, I haven't read much about it. I've just seen the verbiage, but I can get an idea of what it means. When they talk about the dark night of the soul, that the physical disabilities, or I should say physical dysfunctionalities that occurred from that accident. I was not able to work as a school bus driver anymore, and it really took its emotional and mental toll on me as well. And it was a long recovery. It took a long time to recover. And then when I just seemed to be kind of on the upswing of recovering physically, like 2 years later, then I was in another vehicle accident. And then the year after that, that's when I had the complete, emotional upset that just, threw me over the edge. So that means that whole time when, I was suffering, I guess, I was being contacted or being shown things or experiencing things that were unknown to me, but that were prompted from these Pleiadians. So it just goes to show you that, I'm going to try not to cry. Even when you feel like you've hit rock bottom and you feel like no one is around and you're all alone and there's no one to understand, that really that's your own doing, that's your own feeling, because there was somebody there to help me all along, and I didn't know how to reach out and grab it, I guess you could say, or how to accept it. And but that's a whole journey on its own, this acceptance. And like I said, then it took really hitting emotional rock bottom before everything just kind of turned on. And now I can accept all these things that seem to be impossible, things I'm able to do, and psychically, and with the channeling and with the light language, and the way I perceive things now, and how I kind of hear and see and feel and taste things differently with a new perspective. And that's a lot, you hear about that a lot if you reading about this great awakening and this awakening to this higher consciousness, to yourself as a higher being. You're not just trapped inside this earthly body that can only see, hear, think, feel, taste what it's programmed to experience. That programming is, think of the Matrix, the programming is being brought onto us by a force that does not want us knowing, that we have these other capabilities. And right now this awakening is unplugging from that Matrix, and experiencing for ourselves, through our own free will, and through our willingness to want to accept and explore this other reality. It's an amazing journey. It's not easy, and you're not going to be given everything at once. And it's still it's a journey, and it's I don't want to say a struggle, because it's not really a struggle. I mean, some of it can be, I guess, if you perceive it as that. But it's a journey, and it's in like baby steps, and they're not going to just hand everything to you. You have to find this stuff for for yourself. I mean, they are there as guides, and to be there to help and to guide, but you ultimately have to do the work yourself. And it's, I don't know, when you open yourself up to what you thought was impossible, you just see all these possibilities that are just magical, and just it feels good. This other knowing, this other feeling just makes you feel so much freer, because you're instead of just being confined, to this box, there are other worlds, to explore and expand upon, and it's a beautiful feeling. It truly, truly is. So, wow, yes, I didn't know that I was going to be going along those lines this morning. So yes, I think that's what I started to say, and then ended up going off on this their tangent, that by working with the Pleiadians, and because I can, I can translate it into an English language, it'll be easier for me to understand, it'll be easier for you to understand, and that eventually you're working with them, and they did say that things would get stronger, the connections would get better, the more that I do this, that will eventually trickle down into working with the Whale and Dolphin Collective and Ankoe and Mother Earth, in ways that are easier to transmit the message that is more understandable to a broader, I don't want to say audience. It would be given out on a broader spectrum, to be easier to receive. I guess I can put it that way. And so that will work as the things that I have been exposed to, and my journey of discovering the spiritual world. It was first with my interactions with the trees, and then the animals, earthly animals, which then of course led to the spirit animals, then into the crystal realm, and then eventually into the cosmic realm. But it's taking my connection with the last most recent connection with the cosmic realm to then kind of go full circle, that'll kind of work backwards, that from the cosmic level, then it'll be like, the crystal and earthly level, and then the animal level, and then the tree level, and things will just kind of envelop in this like full circle of being able to integrate and work everything together in a way that's easily understandable for all. And it makes sense because, we have a lot more in common, of course, with the cosmos, because they are humans, many, many, many human civilizations, millions of human civilizations out there, and we are only earthly humans, and I know human is defined, I don't have the dictionary in front of me, as a being, as we are, we stand on two legs, and we have two arms with opposable thumbs, and we have an intelligent brain, and and we have features, symmetrical features, but look how diverse we are, even just here on Earth. We all are a similar being, but we don't all look the same, and it's the same out there in the cosmos. There are many, many human and humanoid, type of beings out there, and other planets, on the many, many, many other planets out there that can sustain human life. And it's just a matter of, we may speak differently, we may look differently, but when it comes down to it, we're all the same. We're all the same type of creature. So, oh my gosh, like lots of little tangents that I'm going off on this morning. So let's see, again, this is a work in progress, and I know each time that I am able to channel them, that I will, communications will get stronger and longer, and I'll get more confident, because it's not as, I'm working spiritually, but you still have, this, ego inside you that you have to deal with, and your ego can be tricky sometimes, when the self-doubt or self-judgment, comes rolling in, or, when the ego gets too excited and, wants to ask too many questions instead of just being quiet and listening, and, or If you have an ego that has a tendency to be kind of a control freak, OCD, and like, expects things to be done in a certain way, and want it to be done correctly. So it is, not only am I learning to bring in, these vibrations, and I have to make sure that me, as my human body, my mind and my spirit, are centered and balanced and protected to make sure that I'm only working, with the beings and frequencies of light and love. Then I have to, open myself, to channeling, these vibrations, that are then going to, through my level of experience and intelligence, that my brain is translating, and then making my my mouth and throat function so that these words can come out, and so it's a lot in learning to channel, so it's a journey. I'm still learning, and I think I know that it will get better every time. As with most things, usually, aren't a star, right off at the bat, that it takes, practice and work and training and learning, before you get good at something. And that's how you're supposed to work with that. You don't give up, you keep trying. If you don't get it right the first time, try and try and try again. That there's no such thing as failure. Or no, I'm going to butcher that one. Or the other saying of there's no mistake greater than the mistake of not trying again. I don't know. I'm sure you know all those sayings that I'm trying to relay. All right, so let's, do I have my rosemary? I don't have my rosemary. Well, I'll use my travel companion today. Actually, I'm a little bit headachy today anyways because of the weather with the rain that we've been having the last 2 days. So this will be good. And actually it'll help a little bit with my headache anyway. So it's called Travel Companion. If you ever need a good essential oil for headaches, it's by Windmere, Windmere. It's called Travel Companion, and it really is excellent as for headache relief. And then it also has the added benefit of perking you up a little bit. So, of course, like sometimes when you have a headache, you're just feeling kind of down and tired, and it does help elevate your mood and help alleviate your headache. It doesn't always make it go away 100%. Just due to the bodily injuries that I have sustained, I have almost constant headaches. A low-grade headache every day. And it sometimes just reaches that point when it's even, beyond what I can normally tolerate and work through, and then I start getting nauseated. And that does help. It does help relieve that nausea. It just ends up taking the edge off enough that I can deal with it again. So it smells really good too. I know it has grapefruit and peppermint and patchouli, and the writing on it for the ingredients is so tiny. I need my bifocals or a magnifying glass to read it. Otherwise, I'd read all the ingredients off to you. But okay, all right, my Pleiadian friends. Let's see what we've got to say today. Oh, my Pleiadians, they're encouraging me to I don't know, I've been a little bit hesitant about, I think about it all the time. I always have so many random thoughts going through my head all the time. I think and ponder about things a lot and about everything. And I guess it's, when I'm thinking this stuff, I'm like, well, I know I can't be the only one. And sometimes the scenarios that run through my head are rhetorical. I feel like asking a question, well, what do you think about this? Or, and stating something, and I don't know, I guess, I wonder if there are other people that agree or disagree or can answer these questions or have a different perspective on, how I'm seeing it. And, I've always wondered, what would I do if I recorded almost like every, thought, not every thought, but every time I'm on this quest of examining something, if I recorded that and put that out there, then others who are wondering or thinking the same thing, like, oh yeah, there's somebody else, that's thinking about that or pondering that. Or like I said, somebody who might have, an answer or a solution or a perspective. And so one of the things that has really been weighing heavily on my mind is the concept of beauty. And so as I was, trying to connect into this channel, it's like they were reminding me, you need to put that out there. You need to put these thoughts and this perspective you have about beauty and make that a separate video. So of course that will be, as far as I know, all English, since it'll be coming from me, or at least my higher self, or, well, I don't know, or maybe it's a channeling, but I'm just translating it, into English. We're all one, so it doesn't really matter what or, specifically or who the source is. It's just the different frequencies and the different vibrations that you're able to pick up on. So I'll have to remember that, so that I am supposed to do the video about this perspective and concept of beauty. Okay. Good morning on earthly time. Good morning. Good Sister Joy, good Sister Joy. That was pretty easy. That was pretty easy. Doing better all the time. Yes, so what do we want to examine today? Or what message do we have to bring? Yes, tuning in. Let go of thoughts and questions. Just let it be. Yes, we know. Lots of questions, lots of thoughts, lots of chatter. Stillness of the mind is not easy. And focus on the still point. And that is good to relay. Yes, you did read that from a source on your internet. About focusing on the still point. If you picture a line that kind of connects to the center of your brain from here, from the crown, and the center from the middle of your face here, and you connect right into that middle point, and think of it as a dot, right in the center, and concentrate just on that dot, and let other thoughts and questions just kind of flow away. Just flow away. Good. Yes, it is difficult for you to wonder, is it the Pleiadian voice or my own voice? And that's where the trust begins. Many human conditionings make you question that trust. But again, this is all a learning process. Peace and stillness. Yes, we might not do a whole lot with transmitting actual messages. This is a good lesson in just stillness. Letting the mind be quiet. Just letting go of the heaviness. Yes, there is a lot to becoming light-bodied. Their density is very much that, very dense. And this awakening involves the lightening of this denseness. Spirit is supposed to be light and flowing. And right now it's just being dampened and trapped. It's learning to stretch its wings. And sometimes that can cause fear and anxiety. That is learning to let those emotions go very freeing when that happens. When your body perceives, your mind and your body and your spirit perceive something to be safe as it is, reaching beyond that boundary of what is considered safe, your mind and your ego repels that, saying, no, we don't need to go out there. We don't know what's out there. It's not safe out there. We know it's safe inside, so we will stay right here where we are comfortable. But then when you take that first peek, and you might see something out there that just grabs your attention or prickles your senses enough to just be a little curious. And just like a baby touching grass for the first time, or a toddler getting their toes wet in the first waves washing up on the shore. Just sometimes just taking that little baby step is all that's needed. And once you feel that little baby step is safe, then you start taking the next step, and that's safe as well. And then a step after that, and it's still safe. And then finally you just keep all these safe steps outside. And then you see this whole new world opening in front of you, and it just makes you want to keep taking these steps forward. And each time that you do, you are freer and lighter and more connected. But yes, taking those first initial steps, those first initial peaks, is very scary. The ego has been very, very trained for a very long time to just accept this box of safety. And it is a lot of work. Releasing that fear and that anxiety and trusting that it's okay outside. In fact, once you're there, it's safer and more loving and lighter than you can even imagine. And then you're there and you look back and you're like, why did I ever think that was the only way that there was? Why was that the only thing that I accepted, that I believed was safe? When you let go, there's so much more, and you don't ever want to go back to the way that you were. Yes. Those are very, very good words and a good message for today. That was a good lesson.